Hello, I'm Dr. Hakman, the medical matchmaker. I help match physician-owned private practices that are totally awesome with physicians that are ready to make that leap. And today we're going to speak with Dr. Maltz. She is one of the speakers at our Private Practice 101 conference. And before we jumped on here today, we were talking about her specialties. So, Dr. Maltz, tell me all your specialties that you do.
Yes. So, hi, Laura. I am an internal medicine physician. Went through an allopathic internal medicine residency, as well as did fellowship training in integrative medicine, and am board certified in integrative medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And also completed a preventive medicine residency at the same time I did my internal medicine residency. So it was a combined residency.
So lots of school, lots and lots of
Yeah.
school. Awesome. Well, Dr. Maltz owns her own practice, and she's going to be talking with us in the conference about creating community. And Dr. Maltz has created a pretty active, vibrant community here in Austin, which is why I invited her to speak. Dr. Maltz, without giving a little bit too much away, tell us a little bit about the group you created, and from there, I want to know kind of what we're going to take away from your lecture in the conference.
Yeah. So when I moved back to Austin at the end of 2015, I was basically starting from scratch. I didn't really know that many people here, besides some college friends who had moved on with their lives and had families. But medically, I didn't really know anyone. So I ended up joining a small cash practice downtown where I am now the owner. It's called West Holistic Medicine. And in 2017 or so, I saw that there were 0 patients on my schedule for June, which is literally right around the corner in time right now. But this was 2017. So I had already been introduced and met so many amazing practitioners of all kinds. And what I did was bring them all together into a Facebook group, which I had already learned how to do previously. And the group went from about 70 to 80 people. I believe you were one of the first to be added as well, and Dan and your husband. And it grew now to there are 2,800 people in the group. It just kind of took off, and we used to have monthly meetups. There's all kinds of referrals going on every day. And it's really just an amazing place to collaborate with people. So what some takeaways might be with how to start such a group, how to become a networker, and how to really engage your audience and so that people interact and it's not just crickets.
Yeah, that would be great. I think there's so many of us who have started a group at one point or another, and really it just didn't get off the ground because there's no engagement. There, aren't enough people interested or whatever it is. So your group is extremely active. I mean, people have made friends and colleagues and referral sources, and your practice is like probably bursting at the seams because of it. So
it's definitely helped. It has definitely helped. I mean, it's all about relationships. So cultivating relationships, fanning the flames, that's really what these groups can be if you use them right.
What are some successes you've seen for yourself as a practice owner from the group?
Well, referrals, I would say, have been successful. I've seen people in the group making retreats together. I've seen them joining practices or leaving to go to a new practice. Obviously, friendships are very important. So it ranges the gamut. Companies being born out of collaboration. I honestly don't even know, but people ask me all the time, when are we having another get together? I'm feeling like I need some support or I need some community, because that is very much lacking in the health and wellness entrepreneurial space. I mean, we're in our jobs all day and we're taking care of putting out so many fires, and same with medicine, same with doctors, right? We're putting out fires constantly left and right. But at the end of the day, not everyone speaks our language, and we need each other to just support, just to be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was just watching an interview this morning by a neuroscientist, I believe, about loneliness and how it really, decreases our intelligence and decreases so many factors. So it's kind of cool that you can create something local that is online and then translates to in person where you can meet those people and make friends. And I know, in our physician Facebook group also,
Hmm.
like, I love
Yeah.
it. I love meeting the people there, and I've made such,
Yeah.
interesting connections and great referral sources. And I feel like I can tell my patients, I'm going to refer you to this doctor because XYZ.
Right.
They've got
Right.
a wonderful bedside manner. She's so sweet. She truly cares, whatever it is. And I think,
Yeah.
without these Facebook groups, we couldn't do that.
Right. I feel we're so lucky to live in this age now with technology. Now, it can also go, be not useful.
Right.
And, but I don't know. I tend to stay in the useful using it. Maybe I use it a little too much, but like a lot too much. But I think for the most part, having events and planning around them, getting to know other people in the community, that can be wonderful referral sources, and just keeping the lines of communication open. So I've had many patients come out of the group. They are health and wellness practitioners themselves, and they feel a trust with me because I'm in there, I'm always fanning the flames and talking, just being outspoken.
Yeah.
So it's been
I,
really helpful.
I think this is one of those lectures in our conference. So our conference is really on how to start your own practice, or if you're curious about starting your practice, what does it take? This is one of those lectures where even if you have your own practice, you can benefit from. So it's pretty cool. I mean, even if
Yeah.
you already have your practice, there's things to benefit from in our conference.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's always something more we can be learning or doing. I don't know. There are some practices that are like, we don't want anymore. Stop sending patients. They have 6-month waiting lists, a lot of specialists and super specialists, they're very niche. But then the regular general primary care practices, we do need constant referrals. It's not
Hmm.
it there is no end to how many patients we can see, on a because some people get better, then they drop off, and then
Right.
you constantly kind of need this referral source.
I would call
Um,
what you do pretty niche. I mean, you're primary care, but you have that integrative
yeah.
background combined with primary care. You're a physician. You definitely offer something that there really isn't a lot of, even in Austin, which is a pretty crunchy city. We're crunchy here.
Oh yeah, we're very crunchy. I would say, yeah, yes, and I would in Austin. There are quite a few people. I've been very impressed. Seeing primary care docs give yoga positions and acupressure points, and that's integrative medicine. That's whole person medicine. So it's a but yes, the thing that I love the most about my practice is the time that I get to spend with patients, and that's like the bottom line for me. It's just being holding that space and being in it as
Right.
as long as the patient needs.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and tell yourself something, perhaps when you took over the practice,
Hmm.
because you didn't start the practice,
Yeah.
you took over. So what
Hmm.
would that something be?
Ooh, what would that something be? I would just remind myself it's all going to be okay, and one day you will travel. Because when I took over, it was the end of 2021. It was December 15th, 2021. And there were, just setting up the bank account, the business bank account, and you have to have the EIN, and there's all these things, and CPA, your tax status, what form are you, like all these things, and taking over the EMR, and everything had already been set for me, and I never knew what really happened on the back end. So learning payroll, learning all the things, like how to run charges even in the system, because we're a cash practice. So all of these things. And I think 2022 was very stressful, just learning, relearning, front desk staffing, just so much going on. So yeah, I would just remind myself it's going to be okay. 2023 was a great year. I got to travel multiple times, 4 international trips, one of which I got this dress in South
Lovely.
Africa, of course, where we're both, our roots are from. And, so I just reminders that there's a light at the end of the tunnel is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, I think people are, or physicians at least, a lot of the physicians I speak with who, want to start their own practice, but it's so daunting. Um, I think knowing that, yes, it'll be hard for the first year or so, maybe less, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's okay. It'll get better.
Yeah.
And once you're out on the other side, you have that autonomy and you get to do what you want to do and innovate if you want to innovate and don't innovate and take 4 international trips, whatever you want. You're the
Yeah.
boss. You get to
Yeah.
do what you know is best for you.
Oh,
And I
it's
think
so liberating.
you bring
So
up a
liberating.
really good point about learning all these new things. So, another hesitation I hear from doctors all the time about starting their own thing is, I don't know. I don't know business. How can I start? I don't know it. Does that, so if you learned it,
Mm-hmm.
continue my sentence.
Anyone can learn it. Trust me. I am like the least numbers oriented person. I mean, that's not true. I do I check in every day with the numbers because I just, it's satisfying to me, but, and that's part of being a business owner sometimes. And I also don't enjoy, all the details, all the detail oriented stuff. Like that part gets a little bit tedious. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. And you may have to scale back on patient care a little bit or delegate things, which I know doctors are not always so great at doing, like saying no to certain, saying like, oh, I am going to hire that bookkeeper to do my books and I'm not going to even have to learn that. So yay, little things like that can be really practical and really helpful in lightening the load. And no, I'm not going to see patients 5 days a week. Like that has been the key to my sanity. But that's me, there's some people who are very easily, like we can learn anything. We can literally learn how to do anything. We can even learn how to be empathic now, right? Like we've seen this, it can be taught. So
What?
yeah, empathy can be taught.
Huh.
It's a skill.
That
Yeah.
is so interesting.
I mean, obviously there are people who are a little more, it comes easily, naturally, but then it can be taught. So yeah, we
Very
can learn anything. If we can learn how to like feel, we can learn how to do numbers and all the ins and outs of the EMR. And there's always support. Like my EMR has great support. So I reach out, I wrote them this morning, like, why is this happening? Please, how do we prevent this? Things like that. So just having people that you can trust and community is super important. Also, in the group, I also built the group to be like a resource center. That's what, I wanted other solo entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space to come together and be like, okay, who are you using for your taxes? Are you an S Corp? What's the benefit? What do you do? Give me some policies and procedures documents. And I've gotten some of that stuff. You just ask and people are happy to share for the most part, if they're online and nice and willing. So, which is not always the case, but it can be. So I've benefited a lot from the group, and I know others have as well. They tell me their success stories and how wonderful it is. And I think anyone can own their own practice if they want. If you want it bad enough, you'll do it. But if not, that's okay too.
So, any physician, do you want to pick up your dog? Is she on some attention there?
She is, of course. She was asleep and now she's awake.
She woke up.
Sorry.
It's
I'm just petting her. I'm petting her.
okay. Okay. Um, Yeah, so any physician who's maybe in an employed position, maybe they're burned out, maybe they are tired of being another cog in the wheel. What do you have to say to those docs?
Well, I would say owning your own practice is extremely liberating once you get all that behind you, all the learning curve. And it's a steep learning curve. I'm not going to lie. It was 2022 was tough, but it's doable. It's all doable. You could also start like slow and put one foot in and join a practice part-time and, cut back on your spending. That's another thing to, if you don't have to make so much, then these transitions can be a little bit less stressful, right? But if you're caught in the wheel of spending, like it is, you have to keep that up. So anything is possible. You can do it. I've done it. Lots of other people have done it. There are many different models to follow. You're not the first, so just, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The DPC model is a great one that I would recommend for a lot of primary care, even specialties now. So even physical therapists are doing it. Like everybody's doing it. So I'm a big fan of the cash models out there. And I think if you're burnt out, you definitely need to take some time for yourself. I've been there multiple times. At one point when I moved back, I did spend like 3 months in the bathtub and not working. I just used savings and recuperated. I was a shell of myself. So I get it. Don't push yourself beyond, the beyond. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And here you made it on the other side of that box.
Yeah. And I have plenty of time off. I spend my time I spend my time how I want it to be spent. I work a lot, but I also have lots of free time. So I'll go for my massage later in a few hours.
That's awesome. Well, and so I want to just echo a few things you said. There are many different models. We addressed those in the conference.
Yeah.
Spending habits and how you manage your personal finances. We addressed that in the conference. So please come to our conference. I'll post the link in the comments below, and I believe it is in the show description. So please show up. Please sign up. It's free. It's virtual, so you can do it in your pajamas. I may be wearing a real shirt, but I will definitely be wearing pajama pants. So please join us, Private Practice 101, and it's through SoMe Docs. Again, this is Dr. Laura Hockman, the medical matchmaker. And Dr. Maltz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I hope everyone stays hydrated and cool.
Stay cool.
It's going to be hot.